Boy, did the Buffalo Bills have a big victory on Monday Night Football, destroying the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. 47-10, I believe was the final score. Wow, that's a whooping. Everybody eats. That's the biggest thing out of this game. Josh Allen obviously is a great quarterback. But this year, the effort to get it to different players has become obvious. 10 different people caught passes from Josh Allen at this game. I believe it was 5 different guys caught touchdowns. Different players. Everybody eats. Everybody's eating. That's just fantastic football. Now, we had some questions coming into the season on what was going to happen with the Bills at certain positions. So I thought 3 games in, let's talk about some of those questions. The offensive line had a bit of a question because Connor McGovern was moving over from playing left guard to now playing center, and David Edwards was going to move in to the left guard position. Now, this is just moving offensive linemen around a little bit when we had a consistent 5-man offensive line last year, but Mitch Morris went to Jacksonville, which was nice to see him at the game. And, that meant that some changes obviously needed to be made. This offensive line is playing fantastic through the first few games. So check. Who's going to play safety? Damar Hamlin has been playing pretty well at safety, and seeing him get an interception versus Jacksonville, really, really exciting. So I'm happy with what we've got there at safety. I think it's still out there on whether these guys are going to be, you're trying to replace Hyde and Poyer, so it's really hard to do. But let's see what these guys are doing. But for now, I'll put check. Then the linebackers had some injuries coming into the season as Matt Milano is down. And I did see he was on the sidelines. And Terrell Bernard injured, and he was on the sideline. So who's going to play linebacker? Well, Dorian Williams has come in, and he had 10 tackles during the game. He's playing well. Balen Spector comes off the bench, takes over at that middle linebacker position, and he is playing well. So at the linebacker position, for now, with the backups and knowing that these other guys are hopefully coming back, I'll go check. We wanted a pass rush that could be better this year. And I told you guys during training camp the pass rush was going to be better. Coach Marcus West has got these guys going. And they got 5 sacks this year. And big shout out to Javon Solomon, because I told you that he's the one player that had gotten better during training camp from the beginning to the end. Not just the one player, but the one that I felt did it the most. And Javon Solomon showed his intensity during special teams, and when he got the opportunity to get a sack, his very first sack in the NFL is not just a sack, it's a strip sack. Recovered by Casey Toohill, who also had a sack during the game. Constant pressure from our defensive line is one of the main reasons the defense is playing well so far. So I'll go check. Wow. All the answers there are good. I know some questions about Tyler Bass. He kicked the ball well during this game. I know he had the extra point block, but I don't think that was on him. I think there was some blocking issues that the Bills will correct this week. So Tyler Bass striking the ball really well at this game, had a few long field goals. Check, at least for now. Yeah, that's a good game. And this just in, Josh Allen's a good quarterback. You know, a lot of people were worried with Diggs leaving, out of this market, let's say, when he went to the Texans. And I think the Texans are only going to have him for one season. But now it's everybody eats. And I told you before the game, Shakir would have a good game because the way that Jacksonville plays defense, it leaves those crossing routes open. And Shakir is the man for those. Curtis Samuel on those screen passes has been adding a lot. And Coleman was on a crossing route for his touchdown. Now, Keon did get benched for one quarter. I believe he was late for practice or practices. And, I think that that's something that McDermott has done in the past as well for other players. So when they were rookies, so it's just a rookie learning. I think he's talked to the team about it, and we're moving on. Obviously, he was moving on. That touchdown was nice. Oh, talking about guys getting replaced. How about Taron Johnson going down? And Cam Lewis coming up and stepping up, and he is playing awesome. I don't think any of these starters are going to lose their jobs. But what a great thing to have these backups that can play so well. And with Cam moving from his position, that opened a place for Jamarcus Ingram. And Ingram has had a couple of great games. The pick 6 last game. Check on that as well. Now, the one worry that we have here is it the other 3 teams we were playing? Arizona is not thought of as being one of the top tier teams. We struggled a little bit with them. Miami, without Tua now, they're not a top-notch team. But with Tua during that game, the Bills dominated. And then last night, Jacksonville. There's some problems in Jacksonville. One thing I did like about seeing Jacksonville play, beyond seeing Gabe Davis and Mitch Morris back at the stadium, was Tony Khan walking by me. AEW. I said AEW for life, and he did it back to me. So that was pretty cool. Way off the patch. But, yeah, I'm happy with the way our team is playing right now as we go into Baltimore. Now, that's going to be a very hard place to play, and I won't get too much into that right now. Baltimore, obviously, a good team with Lamar Jackson, I think a 2-time MVP, playing for them. So we've got our hands full this week on Sunday Night Football. When we're talking about night football, I'm not a fan. It messes me up. We get home really late. My whole sleep pattern gets destroyed. That's why I'm making this video a day late. I got a little ill yesterday. But I'd rather play all 1 o'clock games. Those are fun. Those are more fun to me. But that's just me. However, what other players can we talk about that are playing really well? I think we talked about Shakir. He's playing well. The running backs, everybody eats at running back too. Everybody eats at running back. Ty Johnson, James Cook, and Ray Davis. All 3 of them had a touchdown. That's awesome. The Bills may not be the team you want to have the players for fantasy this year because we're spreading the ball around and everybody eats. But they may be the team you want to join the bandwagon on. Because we go on places. For autographs at this game, the tight end that looked really great during preseason training camp, and I believe he will be up on the 53 in the future. And he thought this was really cool. Zach Davis signed this for me. Zach Davidson, I'm sorry. Signed this for me. He is on the practice squad. And then, you know, in earlier videos, I showed you that we were able to talk to Frank Gore Sr. a little bit at one of the preseason games, as someone gave us front row seats to go down and sit there, and Frank ended up standing in front of us. And his son hugged him at the end of the game. And Frank Gore Jr. signed this for me. And then a guy that's on the 53-man roster, I talked about a little bit already, and has added a veteran presence to our wide receiver room and the ability to go screen passes. We haven't been very good at screen passes in the past to our wide receivers. This year, Shakir is doing well at it, but also Curtis Samuel. And, you know, I know he's become a fan favorite already, and was great to meet him. He specifically asked if he could sign this in red, what I wanted him to do anyway. So, yeah, it was nice to meet him before the game, although it was really quick. Another player that needs to be talked about, Von Miller. I told you the guy's back. He looks fantastic. He's got the bend. He's got the rush. He's got the attitude. He's got no brace on his knee. Von Miller's back, y'all. Don't forget it. Always love Daquan Jones. I see him back here, too. And play action needs to be talked about as well. Play action before the snap. I think the Bills used it every single play. And it does so much for the quarterback that he can tell whether it's a zone or man coverage. He knows where he's going to go probably before the ball's even snapped, because he knows whether they're playing zone or man. I mean, he knows what the play that's called is going to beat zone or man, or if he needs to make an audible to a play that can beat zone or man. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing to use play action, or not play action, but to use pre-action snaps, but you know, before the snap, so that Josh can read the defenses. Yeah, the wide receivers are going in motion before the snaps. The running backs are going in motion. The tight ends are going in motion. It just shows you with the defensive back, if they, or defensive backs or linebackers follow the guy, it's man. If they don't, it's zone. So it just helps the quarterback, and Josh is on his game. So we're good with that. Boy, let's just take a second to enjoy a 47-10 victory. Now, one game at a time. Let's go to Baltimore. And go Bills. And as always, remember, God loves you, and so do